We just finished practice and had a really good one today. We getting prepared for Louisiana Tech exam week, so schedule's a little bit different, but we'll continue to go in the mornings as we have all semester and try to get ready for a good Louisiana Tech team who has a game. They played Saturday against Nichols. They play again tomorrow night at Stephen F. Austin. So should be a good game, and they'll be ready for us as they don't have exams now because of the quarter system. Game at Samford last week, we didn't play as well as we needed to, and we paid the price for it. They had great energy. They played great defensively. They got us on the glass, and Jermaine Marshall, their best player, doesn't even play. And it's kind of just like when we haven't had Jordan Brown or another player, the team always plays better. We went to South, and the big kid didn't play last year, and they were better as a team. But Samford played really well. They've got a good team. They're 32-5 in their last 37 games at home. Great environment, student section, fans. It was a tough game, and we beat those guys last year at home, and they're trying to go undefeated at their place, and they're in the middle of an 8-game homestand, so they've got a chance to win the Southern Conference and do well. But we've addressed the issues that we had and the needs to get better in several areas, and had a really good practice this morning working on those things.
Besides, obviously, rebounding, we've been talking about since day one, but besides that, what else you're hoping not to happen again that came out of that game, looking forward to try to get better?
Well, we certainly have to shoot better. That was the first game, I guess the first game in that game, last game we played. I think we were 5 for 24 from 3 against Youngstown. And then the other night we were 3 for 19, I think, and Kobe made them all. So you take those two games out, we were shooting 41% going in the game. You take those two games out, we're shooting about 43% from 3, which is outstanding. But we've got to get better shooting, making shots. We got to get to the free throw line and make free throws. And certainly the rebounding aspect. And defensively, we made some mistakes too. The other night was one of those games where it was almost Murphy's Law. End of the shot clock, they bank one in. 2 seconds to go, the ball underneath the basket, they get it in, kid hits a jump shot. They scored at the end of the clock, and they played very well. In fact, they shot a great percentage of second half, and it was just too much to overcome with a halftime deficit.
What about Louisiana Tech? Y'all always seem to play pretty well. Played very well against them. What's different or similar about them this year in matchup-wise? They've
got a big 7-footer that our guys are very familiar with, our people from Texas Tech, because Daniel Bacho, who played at Arizona and then transferred to Tech, and he's just got a waiver a couple of weeks ago, and he's averaging a double-double. And he poses a problem. He's a big kid. He'll be the biggest kid on the court. Isaiah Crawford's the guy that's really played well for him. I've tried to figure out how to slow him down for 4 years, and a couple of times we had a little success. But he's really good. He's a Conference USA preseason player of the year. He reminds me a lot of Bryce Washington. He can pass. He can take it to the goal. He can shoot it, and he's smart. Just a really solid player for them. And they've got some new guards. A couple of their guards didn't play Saturday against Nichols, so we'll have to see the status of those guys and if they're healthy and ready to go. But it's Coach Hester's second year. They've got a good group. I just heard they were 40 in the net, maybe, something like that, ranked up there high, certainly higher than us. So we're going to have a great game on our hands. And last time we went up there, as you said, Kevin, I think we were up 15 or something in the first half, played really well. Jordan got in foul trouble after a great first half, and then we wound up losing the game. And one thing sticks out in my mind about that game, and it wasn't the fact that Jordan scored 29 or 30. It was the fact that Kobe and Greg Williams did not score at all. So to say we're going to need Kobe's 25 or 30 he's been getting every night is an understatement.
That leads into my next question. we've always known that Kobe was capable of the way that he's playing, but injuries have kind of hindered him over his career. How impressed have you been with the performance he's had?
I'm so happy for him. You know, I texted him the other night, told him I was proud of him, proud for him. I mean, he has really done a great job. He's worked hard. He had a good week of practice, and he had a really good second half. I mean, he played well the whole game, but he moved. He made some moves that I wish our home crowd, you know, could have seen if they weren't tuned in. But really happy for him, and just we've known it all along that he could do this, and he's doing it. He's having a good time with it, and you know, no one deserves it more than him.
Coach Joe Charles has had 5 double-doubles so far this season. What are you looking out of him to kind of take that next step and continue in that level of consistency in his play?
Well, Joe is one that we're trying to hold like Kobe and Themis and Kentrell, all those guys that are back. We've challenged them, Mike Thomas, Kyron Ratliff, that are playing right now. We've challenged all those guys to raise the level of play. And Joe's the one, we talked about it. I told him I want to rebound the ball. He's done that. And now I'm going to have another talk with him, or had one at Sanford. And he got out of the blocks pretty good there, scoring the ball for us. He missed a couple of threes that he normally makes, but had a good game at Sanford. But I've challenged him to pick it up even more, you know, and instead of 15 and 10, 20 and 12, but increase your averages and raise the bar.
Opponents are still shooting about 25% outside the arc against you. You've talked before about running people off the three-point line, but it can't be just as easy as saying we're going to run people off the three-point line. How do you do that?
Well, we try to close out to touch, pressure the basketball without getting beat to the paint. The problem is we've run them off the three, Dan, but we've got let them get to the paint way too often this year. I mean, it started with Toledo, and Toledo's guards got in. They made tough jump shots and plays, and Sanford certainly did the same thing. I mean, they got the ball to paint for us and made tough twos.
Is that about not having a shot blocker, or is it bigger than that?
A little bit. That's definitely a help because it's not the ones that you block; it's the ones that you alter. You know, last year we felt like, or 2 years ago, that Theo Kuba was really good at that and as good as anybody in our league. And yeah, we're on the move and have signed one, but we're trying to get another one.
Michael Thomas, you can tell the shooting progress that he's made. He shoots with confidence now when we first got it. But what about, it seems like there are other parts of his game that maybe aren't as good as they were so far last year. What about him and his consistency?
Yeah, he's done a good job. He had some turnovers the other night against Loyola and then against Sanford too. Made some tough shots and shooting the three ball better, as you said, Kevin. But we've got to continue to push Mike. He's one of our fastest guys with the ball, and we've played him with Themis quite a bit. Themis wasn't very good, speaking of that, against Sanford. First team all-conference guys got to play better when we go on the road. Yeah, no, he's 100%. And they were a hard team for him because they wore him down. They doubled, they held him, and on top of all the other things we mentioned that went wrong in that game, and they made shots, et cetera, we did not get a good whistle. And I was really disappointed in that. But Themis and Mike have to continue to get better. We talked to them this morning before practice about being assertive, calling out the plays. If the bench doesn't give you one, call it out, and let's execute.
How worried are you about playing a really good team on the road after this, not just a week off, but this is a busy week off mentally?
Well, you just have to go back to the last time we did it 2 years ago. And we got out to a 15-point lead in the first half, played well, should have won the game in my opinion. We've won twice up there, but we should have won more. We had 2 other games that we could have won, and then they beat us soundly one time. But it's a tough environment. They've been good at home. They'll have a good crowd for us. but it's the same preparation that we had before at the end of exam week. And when we play them here, we play them on Wednesday sometimes on dead day. We've played on those dates before, but we've got the full week to prepare for those guys and know it'll be a great game. I've talked this morning to the team, the newcomers, guys that aren't from Louisiana, tried to explain to them about the next two games that we have up on our schedule and how important it is not only to coaches and players but in our team, but also for our fan base.